Welcome back. In this video, we're going to roll up our sleeves and practice using loops to build simple programs, as well as variables and a little of creativity. Let's jump right in. We're going to build a program that asks the user how many times to count, then counts from one set number. After that, we're going to go ahead and build upon our guess a number program that we covered in previous modules. Now, this might feel a little redundant at first, but we'll talk about how we can add some more complexity to our program. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and give our user a nice greeting that says, let's count together. This counts as a greeting and some form of instruction. We're going to go ahead and create a variable called limit with the input method. We're going to give the message of enter a number to count up to. Now this limit is the variable that we're going to use to pass into a range function within a for loop so we know where to stop. But because we're using the range function, range takes integers as input. So we need to ensure that this input returns to us an integer, because as we know already, input by default returns to us a string value, so we need to use typecasting, essentially an integer wrapper. Then we can start our for loop and say for I in range, we're going to start at 1, because typically when we count, we start at 1. And my stop is going to be limit plus 1, because if you recall, the stop input within the range function is up to but not including. So if I wanted to count up to 4, it'll get to 4, but it won't print it out, and I won't ever have access to it unless I increase it by 1. Then I can just simply print I pass in 4, and as we see here, I get my greeting, my instructions, and my count of 1, 2, 3, 4. From the top, we use the input method to receive input from the user, which we then convert it into an integer data type. We started a for loop with the range method to count from 1 up to that limit. All this within a simple, clean loop. So all this is still the same. Let's go ahead and build upon our guess a word program that we discussed in a previous lecture. Go ahead and reset this code. But our program is going to be a little bit different than the last time. This time we go ahead and predefine what the word should be. I'm going to say secret word is equal to Python. And I'm going to create a guess variable set to an empty string. This guess variable should start as an empty string because before we start this program, the user hasn't guessed yet. We're then going to create a guess the secret word print statement here to let our user know what they should be doing. And this time, instead of a for loop, we're going to use a while loop, because our condition is that I need to continue asking the user for input as long as they have not guessed the secret word. So really, the condition should be while guess does not equal secret word, I want to run the next line, which is asking the user for a guess. That's going to be done within an input statement. And if they guess it correctly, I want to say congratulations, you guessed it. All right. When I run this, I can say something like JavaScript, and I get it wrong, so it asks me again. Then I can say Python, and it works as intended. The while guess does not equal secret word keeps looping until the guess matches. When it runs this loop, at line 7, we ask the user for input every single time this runs. And it won't stop until guess is equal to secret word finally breaking out and giving us our print statement. Now, how could we add complexity to this? Well, we could do something like this. We can create variables like attempts is equal to 0 and max attempts is equal to something like 3. These variables can be used as counters almost. Some form of variable that we can check as an additional condition. Although we want our loop to also run as long as they haven't guessed the word, what if we wanted to add another restriction by adding an additional condition? We could chain within our while loop using an end statement in another condition like attempts less than max attempts. And what this will do is when this runs, not only is it going to check if guess is equal to secret word or not, but it's also going to check if attempts is less than max attempts. And only then are we going to ask the user for a guess. If they exceeded their max attempts, they should no longer be given the ability to guess the word. And to ensure this works properly, we need to also ensure that just like guess and secret word has a way to break out, we need to know how to break out with this additional condition of attempts being less than max attempts. And we do that by increasing the value of attempts by 1 every single iteration. Now, lastly is updating how our print statement works. Our print statement of congratulations should only work if guess is equal to secret word if it's not equal to secret word, which should print out, sorry, you've used all your attempts. When our while loop runs, if they reach the max attempts, this will break out of the while loop, meaning at no point did guess ever equal to the secret word of Python. So when it comes down here, if it stopped due to max attempts, I should not get our congratulations method. I should get our print statement of sorry, you used all your attempts. Software engineers use loops like this all the time. They check for user input, they process items a set number of times, like sending notifications, and they repeat tasks until a goal is met, like retrying a network connection. The for and while loops you use practice are the same tools professionals use every day. Today, you built 2 simple but powerful programs using loops without needing any kind of lists or crazy data structures. In the next module, we're going to build upon everything that we have covered by adding those data structures like lists and dictionaries, which are going to make our programs a little bit more powerful and more flexible. Keep practicing. Try making your own countdown timers, create more guessing games with different secret words, or challenge yourself to add features like guess limits or some other thing like hints. Every small project builds your skills step by step. Great work. You're building the real foundations of coding. Keep that momentum up, and I'll see you in the next module.